My apple tree's doing good. Today we're all about turmeric. First, good morning. Second, I have my biscuit with me. And I don't know how well you can see the layers of this biscuit, but these are my homemade biscuits and I think I've mastered them. I've made them for a long time. I also have my homemade apple butter on here. It's a crock pot apple butter recipe I do. And it's delicious. And so I'm going to enjoy this biscuit real quick before I get to what I'm doing in the garden. But I am going to do an apple butter video when I make it next. I'm just waiting to have 2 full days available to make it because I want to do a big batch and can it. The last batch I did, it was real small. I only got a couple jars. But I'm going to enjoy this quick. Alright, I don't think I need these right now. I have a cold. I'm going to try not to sniffle this whole time on camera. Not because I think it's rude, I really don't care, but because the camera mic picks it up and it is the loudest thing in the whole world. Today we're all about turmeric, and it's not fully dead. This is the plant, or the 3 plants, that was big and lush and beautiful. Insert picture here. And we've had some pretty cold nights the last, a couple pretty cold nights the last couple weeks. So all my turmeric is dying back, and honestly, I have the time right now to dehydrate it and get it all out. So I'm doing it now, even though they're not fully dead. I'm going to pick out the best ones to save to plant next year. So let's get to digging. I guess first we should get something to put it all in once I dig it out. Oh hey, look. No more yellow jacket nest. If you saw my reel, you know what I'm talking about. And if you didn't, you're looking at it now. Alright, let's get my crate. One of these days I'm gonna do a little walk around tour of the garden. Today is November 13th. I had to think for a minute because time is going by too fast and I can't keep up. Do I need a shovel? I do. I haven't been in the garden really at all lately, and it's because it's done. I'm going to get my new shovel from Mrs. Bergman because I like it. I really haven't been in the garden, and that's okay. I've checked on it, but I haven't done anything really. Now that I'm doing, see, that's what I'm thinking. Now that I'm doing this, I feel like maybe the rake would be better. The first one. Alright, I just needed the shovel really to get the top of the soil broken up. I have no idea what I'm gonna find, and I'm so excited. I love turmeric so much. Last year, I did not dehydrate any. That's because I just saved it all. Well, I was trying to air dry it because my friend had my dehydrator, which is fine, but I never went back to get it from her. And so I finally have my dehydrator back. And I'm going to do it the proper way because instead of it drying, every single one of them sprouted. So if I actually want turmeric powder, I'm going to have to dehydrate it the right way. The ground is very hard. Okay, can we just like get underneath it? Let's lift the whole bin up. Okay. Lots of soil on this one. I'm going to bury my shovel. Alright. So far, I'm not like wildly impressed, but we still need to rinse them off. Yeah, lots of little ones. So turmeric is a tropical plant. So they like sunshine and wet, but also dry, but it's a tropical plant. So it does good here in Texas. All right. I think for the other ones, since they're all in real little bins, I think what I'm going to do is just take the whole little bin out, and I have several big bins. I'm just going to dump them out instead of trying to dig them out. Dump out all the soil because might as well make it easy on us. And then we can get even more stuff done in the day. I'm crazy. Okay, more little guys, little fingers. They look like real creepy little fingers, and I love it. Okay, this one looks kind of rotted and chewed on. Maybe not chewed on, maybe it's just rotted. It doesn't feel squishy though. Sounds kind of weird. Maybe I did that. Did I do that? Oh, here's one. And if I miss any, like if there's one. If there's a couple little ones in here, they'll just sprout in the spring. They'll be fine probably over, yeah, they will be fine over winter because I did that last year in the bin. I left a few in the, and they just sprouted. Okay. No worms in this bin yet that I've seen, which is disappointing because I put a lot of worms in here. I just took out this whole chunk. Can you guys believe it? I still have the original tag from when I purchased these 2 or 3 years ago. I still have it. I actually labeled something. It's amazing. I try to be good at labeling, but then there are days where it's like, I don't like that green stalk over there. No clue. No clue till it comes up. I'm trying to get as much dirt off as I can. Even though I'm going to rinse these off, I don't want to be making a giant muddy mess. Plus, I want a lot of soil to go back in the bins because I've worked really hard at building good soil. That's everything in this bin. So if there's any big clumps of dirt, I'm just going to break them all up. Because one of these days, not soon, but whenever the rest of the garden completely dies and is all brown, I am going to just wait for that because the roots are putting nutrition in the soil and everything. I am going to cut all the plants at the base, put all the foliage and tops in the compost bin, but I'm leaving the roots in the ground, in the soil of the bins because it's just going to keep feeding nutrition, especially the bins that had the beans. I left all the roots in those. The beans have been done for a little while. I would say around a month or two. The beans have been done, but the beans don't release their nitrogen until the plant dies. And a lot of people think that when you put the beans in the ground and it sprouts, then while the beans are growing, it's nitrogen fixing your soil, but it's not until the plant actually dies. So what I do is I cut the plant off at the bottom, leave the roots in, let it heal the earth. All right, this is not what I was actually doing. This isn't what we talked about at all. I'm not moving this. I'm getting the buckets and bringing them over here. So we have this one. I can't do that one-handed. I got these bins from the Dollar Tree because they're cheap. Aha! There you are. Ta-da! That was easy. You're not even pointed the right direction. Hold up. There you go. Look at all the roots on the bottom. Look at that. they may have gotten a little bit root bound. So I'm just going to set this in here, start pulling the dirt away. Okay, I have 4 more bins to do this size. So I'm just going to go ahead and like do that up quick, and then I'll meet you back when we're going to clean them. It's starting to get warm. I need my snippers. My bigger ones are better. I need to stop leaving my tools laying around to get rained on. These should be fine. They're pretty dull, but okay, here's what we're gonna do. Let me move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. And I need my compost bucket. Okay. So I am just gonna snip off all of the leaves and everything. All the leaves and roots and everything are going in the compost. So you just, this is the way I do it anyways. So the way I do it is I just snap them off. These are called rhizomes. They look like funny little fingers, and they just snap right off. So I'm going to snap all these off, and then we are going to wash and rinse them outside because that's just easier. Remember when I said I felt like I was missing some, but that's because I gave 2 of them to Emily? Well, Mike pointed out one I missed. Thanks, babe.
You're welcome.
He's hiding back here. My toad friend isn't in it. I had a toad friend that was living in here. Oh, look at the roly-polies. That's still a thing. We can't carry this like that. Look, the first weed of the year. I don't get weeds. Which a lot of people will be like, don't say that, you're gonna get a bunch of weeds. I don't care. Weeds fill up the soil, put roots in the ground, keep it loose. Plus, I doubt that's gonna happen. Whoa. Man. Look at that harp. Look at all the roots compared to the amount of turmeric we got. He was in, I would say, the most shade for most of the day compared to all the other bins. So, since turmeric is a tropical plant, they like the sun, and the Texas sun really doesn't seem to damage them very much. Last year, my turmeric was in full sun for like 8 to 10 hours a day, and it was fine. And it actually, the tubers ended up being bigger last year, I think. I think I'll do more full sun next year. And I was telling Mike, it didn't seem to make a huge difference having the 3 plants in the big mineral bin for tuber size compared to 1 plant in one of these 2.5, 3 gallon bins. So I think what I'm going to do is next year do them all in these bins. Because soil-wise, that makes more sense because I filled up a mineral bin to the same soil height with 6 of these versus the same soil height with 3 plants in a big mineral bin. Does that math make sense? Did I explain that well?
Is your math mathing?
Is my math mathing?
To be honest, I was looking at the camera screen and I wasn't listening to a word you were saying.
Okay. It makes sense in my head, so that's what matters. But 3 plants in 1 mineral bin of soil versus 6 plants in the same amount of soil that fills a mineral bin. The little bins are the better way to go. And they're $1.25 each. And they held up pretty good. I only broke one, but that's because I stepped on it.
She does that a lot. Those freakishly large feet.
He calls them my flippers, which is why Harley boots are my favorite, because you can usually sometimes find my size. Now we gotta wash these. I almost slipped on my face. This is my fancy watering setup. Hand washing station. Whatever you want it to be. We got 4 more. It's 4 more than we had. Alright, so I talked about the tonic that I'm going to make earlier, and the only thing I do want to add that I don't have is ginger. But I'm actually going to go to the grocery store today, probably today or tomorrow, and I'm going to get a piece of ginger root, and then I will be making a video on how I'm going to make my tonic. There's a lot of ways you can do it. You can put anything in it you want, really, and you can omit anything you want. There's tons of recipes out there. Just Google it or look it up on YouTube. Lots of people have done videos on it, but I'm going to do my take on it. So you may be thinking, these containers look awfully familiar, and they may look like the ones that you get at the store that are usually filled with mushrooms. And if that's what you're thinking, then you are entirely correct. That is what these are. Because I'm a container hoarder. I cannot throw containers away. Just picking off any little roots that are still on them. But I'll scrub them better inside. Actually, I think I just need one of these. Cool. So I'm going to weigh this. Look how pretty. Oops. My yellow fingers are also pretty. Okay, so that one can stay out here. And let's go inside. So like I said, turmeric is a rhizome. It is actually a cousin to ginger. And they look very similar. They grow pretty similar. And it's actually native to India and South Asia. And in those regions, it's always been known for its medicinal properties, but it really hasn't been until pretty recently that the rest of the world has kind of gotten on board with how powerful turmeric is in healing your body. All right, ignore the bit of a mess. It's not really that messy, but we live here. Here's the dehydrator I'm using. It is a 10 tray chard. I'm going to dehydrate the turmeric at 135. That's what I do. Apples, pretty much whatever else. I've really only ever dehydrated apples. I dehydrate herbs, but I hang dry my herbs. So the way I'm cutting these, now that they're all scrubbed up and beautiful, and my hands are thoroughly yellow, I'm going to cut them into little discs. I don't know how thick this is, but it's that thick. And they're going to be very small discs, but that's fine because once they're dry, do you want a piece of turmeric, Penny? Hold on. That actually might be good for you. Once they're dry, I'm just going to put them in my coffee grinder, and I'm going to grind it into a powder to use for cooking. I don't know how long they'll dry for. I'll put them in for definitely at least 12 because they are very solid. You can tell by the sound when I cut them. I'm going to guess they're going to take at least 24 hours, but we'll check them. So what turmeric has inside of it for its medicinal properties, it's an antioxidant, antibacterial, It lowers blood cholesterol. It's anti-inflammatory, anticoagulant. So that means that if you are congested and you have like a lot of phlegm and everything, anything that has anticoagulant properties in it will help break up any of that mucus that you have, and it'll clear all your airways and all that. Okay, we got everything chopped up. It all fit in a normal cereal size bowl. And then what's left over, besides more of a mess, these are the ones I'm going to plant next year. 4, 5, 6. I got 7 of them. Those are the best ones. And then some of them have some little roots already growing. These are the ones I saved for my tonic that I'm going to make. And then all the end bits are for the compost. So what I'm going to do is not have you look at my kitchen. And I'm going to use parchment paper because the holes are way too big for these turmeric pieces and they'll fall through. So I'm going to cut this out. I'm guessing it's only going to cover like maybe 1.5 trays if we're lucky. So I've read that you can put parchment paper on these and it's works just great. I've never done it though. It's immune enhancing and it's a digestive aid. So upset tummy or anything, drink a cup of hot turmeric tea. It'll help with that. It helps with so many different things. I consider turmeric like one of my top 5 superfoods. My number 1 superfood is cayenne because that has even more medicinal benefits than turmeric does, but turmeric is a close second for me in my favorite superfoods. But according to recent studies, it's actually stronger acting than a hydrocortisone without any of the harmful side effects that hydrocortisone has. You can use it as a remedy for jaundice and other liver and gallbladder disorders. It's pretty pungent. It's dry. It's a warming herb, so that means it warms the body. I mean, you could probably guess that, but for different herbs and everything, there are cooling herbs and warming herbs, and turmeric is a warming herb. Turmeric is also good for arthritis, osteoarthritis, and a lot of other inflammatory conditions. And one of the things that I know you can do, if you have any sort of swelling, but you can take a powder. So I'm going to be grinding my turmeric into a powder once it's dried. And you can take either cayenne powder or turmeric powder. And you can take a damp paper towel. You can sprinkle some on that. If your feet are swollen, put it on the bottom of your foot. And then wrap your foot in saran wrap. You want the turmeric or cayenne to be touching the bottom of your foot. So put that on, wrap it in saran wrap. Leave it on for like 30 minutes or as long as you can stand it. If you're using cayenne turmeric, you can probably last the 30 minutes, but that'll actually reduce the swelling in your feet. You can do that with your ankles. You can do it with a wrist. So if you have like a sprained joint, it's really good for that too. What temperature do you dehydrate turmeric at? Between 125 and 140. So I'm at 135. So I guesstimated correctly according to the Google. All right, what was your guess? I guessed 1.5 trays, and I was almost perfect. It was about 1 3/4 trays. I'm gonna take, let's see if I can do this without totally spilling the last half hour of my day. So since this is a 10 tray and I only used 1 3/4 of a tray, I'm gonna take the last 8. I have a bag of apples in the fridge, and I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna just put apples on the rest of them because I would hate to run the dehydrator for like 24 hours and only have 2 trays out of it of some type of food. And apples are the only thing I have, so we're gonna do that. If you want to know how I chop my apples up just real quick to put in the dehydrator, I just chop the top off. I save all the cores and the tops and the bottoms, not the stems. And I put it in a gallon Ziploc bag and put it in the freezer until I have enough to put in one of my crock pots. And then I do like a crock pot apple butter. And last time I only used cores and the extra bits, and it turned out delicious. So I cut that stuff off, and then I just cut around the core so that the core is then like a square. Easy peasy lemon cheesy. And then I just cut slices like this, relatively about-ish the same size. And that's it. That's how I cut my apples. And some of them just are being a pain. So you gotta eat them. You know? So far, my orange isn't coming off on the apples yet, so if it did, it wouldn't matter. I have some turmeric apple slices, but we really like these as a snack. I'll show you. I just store them in a jar like this. If you were to store it long term, and it's a glass jar. If you want long term, then put like an oxygen absorber in there and make sure that the jar is filled up all the way, but we eat these super fast. So I don't worry about that. You can do green apples too. Mike likes the green apples. I don't like the green apples. They're too sour. Yeah, they're too sour for me. So those are his snack. Penny loves them. Do you want an apple? She likes fresh apples, dried apples. She does not like fresh bananas, but she'll eat the heck out of some dried bananas. We've got our bag filled for our apple butter. I've never done apple butter with green and red apples, but this bag has both, so we'll see how that goes someday. All the trays are filled. This one's not filled all the way. So what I've discovered throughout doing this several times with apples is it takes about 1.5 apples to fill one tray. So basically this is how many I snacked on while chopping them up. We have our turmeric and we're going to shut her up. The apples take about 12 to 14 hours. Is that what we figured? Apples will be done then, but then I think the turmeric at least 24, maybe more, but I'll let you know when they're all done. Okay, first, 'tis the season. We have the first seed catalog coming in. So when you do this, you want to pulse it. You don't want to just hold it down for a long time because that heats up the stuff that's in here and that will create moisture, and you don't want moisture. I've had to consolidate all my jar stuff to one shelf. Here we go. Probably just this one, eh? Because it's cute. This one's not labeled. We'll use this one. Okay, so I got my little collapsible silicone funnel. We're not gonna spill this. It's so bright and pretty. Get all the little bits in there. It's gorgeous. Ta-da! My homemade turmeric powder to put in whatever I want. Alright, so total time dehydrating the turmeric was around 22 hours. I wouldn't go by that exactly if you're wanting to do it yourself, because it depends on the thickness that you cut your turmeric pieces at, and it depends on the type of dehydrator you have. So just go by how it feels after a little while. Check it at 12 hours if you want. I don't usually have set times for things. Like the apples, I said, those usually take around 12 hours, but I would have had to get up at 1 in the morning to check on them. And I did wake up at 1 in the morning, but I didn't check on them. So they were in there for 22 hours as well, and that's totally fine. It doesn't really matter. They're just super dry now. So that's how I deal with my turmeric. Maybe later today, I'm going to get to making the tonic video. But that will be the next video that I put out, is making my cold and flu tonic for the winter season, even though it's, 85 degrees today. I have had a cold though for a whole week, and I'm like, I really should have made this tonic earlier. I'll show you how to make that, how I make that, because there's a billion ways to do it. But that'll be on the next video. So until next time, I hope you have a great day. I always love hanging out with my friends and family, and thank you for coming along. See you later.